Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm gonna be reviewing the 10th episode of season 2 of The Walking Dead 18 Miles Out. So yeah. So yeah. So as review goes, I'll do a quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then I'll rate it. But before I start off with that, um, I wanna, because there might be some spoilers, so I wanna give those who haven't seen this episode yet for whatever reason, because you're catching up to the series, or you just started a series, or for whatever reason you haven't watched it. There may be some spoilers, so what I recommend is that you stop this video, watch it, and then come back to watch the video, because I'm guaranteed you'll enjoy it. So yeah, I'll give you a couple seconds starting now. So yeah, so as I said before, you know, as I said before, there may be some spoilers. So if you decide to stick around, as I said before, spoilers. So you can always leave the video anytime you want, but don't message me or put down in the comments that I didn't warn you. I gave you a fair warning, so don't bother me with BS like that. So spoilers. Last time I'm gonna warn you. So yeah. So as I said before, as review goes, a quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then I'll rate it. Basically, basically, in this episode we have Shane and Rick, and they're gonna take Randall, which is the captive they took from the previous episode. Well, not captive, but the kid that got his leg, um, I guess, stabbed or impaled through the leg, from previous episode Trigger Finger, review over there, or if I decided to put it. Check both reviews out and any previous or next videos or whatever, and subscribe. But besides that, take him out to this what seems to be like a high school, not really a high school, but like some kind of military base or high school or something of the sort. So yeah, um, some kind of maybe a public workstation, some something like that, maybe a police station, but whatever, some kind of establishment, and they decide to take him out there and to gather some supplies, abandon him there so he doesn't become a detriment to the group, and get some supplies. Shane obviously thinks it's a bad idea. Rick thinks it's a good idea. So yeah, sometime at one point during the car ride, just decide to stop, and basically, Rick tells Shane that don't I know what you did with my wife. Don't pretend that my family has become your family type of thing. And then they continue on the way to leave Randall. So they decide to leave Randall and tied up and everything, and they only leave him a knife to survive. He tries to beg, don't leave me here. He says a bunch of things. He was a normal guy, goofing off on the computer. And at one point, he says, I want to school with Maggie for God's sakes." This obviously, that made him think, we have to kill this guy. But Rick is kind of iffy about it. Shane shoots him. He misses because Rick attacks him. They basically end up fighting. While fighting, Randall tries to goes for a knife and to free himself. Um, Eventually walkers come out this window, and now this whole place is um infiltrated with walkers. Well, it was already infiltrated with walkers. They just infiltrated the part they were in with walkers, and they basically have to run away. Some pretty cool kills. You have Shane trapped in the bus. Randall eventually does get freed, and he kills this one walker. Pretty cool. It was a decent kill, but pretty cool for him. Um, so yeah. Eventually, Rick and Randall meet up again, and what they do is they drive the car they were in order to save Shane, and then they eventually bring back Randall back in the trunk, tied up and blindfolded and all that good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, and that's basically it. Honestly, honestly, this is my favorite episode of season 2 of the whole series. It's probably borderline top tens, somewhere in my top tens for sure. Maybe borderline or honorable mentions or something like that. But for season 2, it for sure is it for sure it's my favorite episode of season 2. Mostly because of the because we get to see a different place now. So we're seeing new locations, and it's not really something you see much in season 2. Most of the time, you're in the farm. You're in the farm, so you really don't get. I mean, you're either in the farm or in the forest. So yeah, I mean, so it's pretty cool to see a new location that we haven't seen before. Because really, the only other location we've been in season 2 is that one. It's the one shopping center with the bar and the not department store, and the pharmacy. So pretty cool to see a new location. I mean, really, season 2, highway, barn, and marketplace. That's it. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes it pretty cool. Dialogues. It's, I think, also one of the best of season 2. I mean, you have some pretty cool quotes. I think one of the coolest is where Rick, I think it was at the end of the episode, and then in the beginning of the episode and in the end of the episode, or something like that. So in both parts of the episode, he said something pretty similar to it, and he was like, "That's my wife, that's my child, that is my unborn baby." Something like that. Don't mess with them. I forget the exact quote. They and he goes to saying, "It's time for you to come back. Come back from this madness. Stop acting crazy," type of thing. So you do have some pretty cool dialogue in this episode. The fighting was amazing. It's pretty interesting to see the two different takes of how they should handle Randall. Um, Honestly, I would have killed Randall on spot. I would have put him out of his misery on trigger finger, and really no point in saving him, in my opinion. Um, yeah, but it is a pretty interesting way to view Randall and how much of a threat is he in this episode, and something you really get to see in this episode. Oh my! Another thing I forgot to put in from the synopsis. There's also a subplot which involves Beth. She's still in this coma shock type of thing. How can I almost forgot that? Um, And in the previous review for Triggerfinger, I said they were kind of dragging it on. Here, they kind of made it more interesting with her coming out of the shock, trying to commit suicide. You also have to do different takes on Maggie and between Maggie and Andrea. Andrea says she should decide how she wants to end it all. And Maggie's basically like she can't die. She has to stay with us. So I almost forgot to say that. That was also another pretty interesting note. Maggie versus Andrea, and how the Beth situation should be handled. Honestly, that was also pretty cool to see. So yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Whatever. That was also pretty interesting to take. How should someone decide to live their life in zombie apocalypse? So two different situations. That subplot was also pretty cool. Subplot was pretty cool. Whatever. So yeah, obviously the acting, the dialogue is one of the best for this episode. So yeah, which is one of the things that makes it my favorite episode of season 2. I mean, I really don't have any complaints. I mean, you do have some slow parts, very minimal. Make it very minimal. In the beginning, it seemed kind of slow, and also towards the end, it seemed kind of slow. Like during the middle, it seemed very minimal, and usually was in the farm, but whatever. But it's just very minimal. So yeah, that's basically it for this review. Well, besides the rates. Why am I forgetting stuff in this review? Whatever. Forget the synopsis, and then I almost forget first I almost forget the subplot, and then almost a rate. But whatever. Back on track. The rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent. I'd put this at an 8.75. Yeah, 8.75. So I will give it. It does have its problem stakes that most of it being slow, but it does have that great dialogue, and it does kind of revive or make the Beth story arc more interesting of season 2, and it is my favorite episode of season 2. you know it's overall it's a pretty great episode. And yeah, I think the only thing that can come close to it will have to be, beside the Dying Fire, the season final, which I will eventually do a review for it. So yeah, um, Walking Dead, the mid-season premiere comes back then this Sunday, Sunday 9th, February 9th, February 9th, Sunday, whatever. So watch that. I will be doing a review for it. Trust me. Um, so yeah, that's basically it for this review. Comment below on your thoughts on this episode. Have you seen it or have you not seen it? Do you want to see it after this review or whatever? And if you have seen it, what do you think of it? Do you think it should be more than 8.75 or less than 8.75? And yeah, what is your favorite episode of season 2? And maybe the show overall. So far from the show overall, it may have to be Too Far Gone, which is the most recent episode from season 4, the mid-season final of season 4. My opinion, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, that's basically it for this review. That is it. So yeah, comment below on your thoughts on on this episode, more than 8.75 or less than 8.75. Favorite episode of season 2, and maybe the show overall. And yeah, comment all that down below. Subscribe. I also do other videos over The Walking Dead. I do some discussion topics on The Walking Dead, other episode reviews, and also review some of the comic books. So stay tuned for that. I also review other comic books, also review movies and other TV shows. So also stay tuned for that. Share on Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Vine, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it. This is Daniel Mart signing off.